Back here in these barns, hidden out of the way, is stuff that's gonna absolutely blow your mind. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to guess what it is.
It didn't like what I did a minute ago.
Rolls-Royce.
Well, this was made by a company called DNR Replicars back in the 90s.
That is pretty cool, isn't it?
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
YouTube is way better.
It is.
We'll show you some of the stuff that we have just laying around the house.
We're here and we have turned up in Las Vegas. We're here for the SEMA show, but I know Bob is a great guy. I met this guy in 2015 at the screening of a TV show called Dallas Car Shocks, and I met you, and I never imagined all these years later we'd be sat here in your lair. And I mean, it is going to be a whirlwind. There is so much to see here and do. This lovely man here, his link will be in the bio below. What he is doing is amazing, whether it's going out and fixing the Rolls-Royce, or you know, you're talking about stuff being stolen or building amazing cars. Everything you do is raw. Like, he doesn't hold back at all. You know, it's absolutely brilliant.
Speaking of which, let me give you a tour of the crib.
Let's do it.
I'm way too to be worried about what it say about me. I'm way too fly to be coming down.
So out here in Las Vegas, you can imagine that everything is bigger and better than it is back in the UK. But in the UK, we don't have quite the selection of movie cars that you have in such a small area. It's absolutely ridiculous. So a quick word from our amazing sponsor, NordVPN. If you travel the world like me, sometimes when you're abroad and you're not in your home country, you may struggle to access some of the normal websites that you're used to. These may include websites, social media platforms, and even websites that you're used to getting onto in your home country. These are normally because of regional restrictions, and that's where NordVPN comes in at this amazing point to help you out. Also, some countries can censor some websites, which may get in the way of you purchasing car parts or anything you may need when you're not at home. NordVPN can fix that problem for you right now, and I can help you out with an amazing offer. Just pop onto their amazing website, which is listed here on the screen, right here, right now, and you will get an exclusive offer. First of all, it's NordVPN/HardUpGarage, all in lowercase. It truly blew my mind, not only how easy their website is to access, but how good the product is. All you have to do is go on their website right now, set up an account that suits you, but I'd recommend the 2-year account, because with the 2-year account exclusively on my Hard Up Garage channel, you get an extra 4 months for free. So take out a 2-year account, you get an extra 4 months for free. But once again, you have to go to NordVPN/HardUpGarage in lowercase. Once the app is downloaded on your handheld device or any computer that you're using, Mac, Apple, anything you want, Microsoft, all you have to do is download the app. Once the app is downloaded, log straight in with the website and it will take you to your app. Then on the left hand side, as you can see right here, you've got all the countries listed on the left hand side. You can scroll up and down and try and find your home site or any other website around the world that you may want to access, including, like, imagine there's a Netflix series that you love but isn't available in your region or in your country. You, using NordVPN, can also access that. Click on it, and at the top here you can see, as soon as it says connecting, it will say connected, and you are free to go. You can access anything you want, but please don't forget, guys, using NordVPN/HardUpGarage, you'll get that exclusive 4-month offer on top of your 2 years. That's 4 months for free, all right? And if it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't suit whatever lifestyle you have, which I'd be very surprised if you didn't need or love NordVPN, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. Guys, NordVPN have been looking after me, not only safety-wise, there is so much stuff these guys do that make their product amazing. Go check them out and use my URL. Let's get back to the video. Let's go!
Well, that's what I do. I do crazy movie cars, and I wish I could show you this, but it's all wrapped up. This is a 924 Porsche that back in 1980, the band Kiss gave this as a gift to their new drummer, Eric Carr.
Okay, yeah.
Now, he died, unfortunately, in 1991 of a cancer. This was donated to the Kiss mini golf and museum that's here at the Rio in Las Vegas. And it sat there for many years, and it was in too bad a condition. So they let me have it to restore it, and so this will be coming out soon on my channel. And we plan on doing some great charity work with this car.
That'd be amazing.
Raising money for one of Gene Simmons' Mending Kids Foundations, where they do heart surgery for children that can't afford to get it. So that's going to be one of the plans with that. But I'll show you, that'll be coming up. So if you subscribe to my channel, you'll see that soon. we'll show you some of the stuff that we have just laying around the house.
So straight away, you guys know I am the king of fake supercars. I can't afford a real one because I'm hard up. So he can, right?
No, I can't.
So I would love, okay, to one day own a real Countach, and that car to me is amazing. But over here, straight away, gets all the hairs stood off my arm. This is a very special car. This is a Lamborghini Countach replica. Bob, who makes this piece of amazingness?
Well, this was made by a company called DNR Replicars back in the 90s. And it's a Pontiac Fiero, 1986 Fiero.
Yeah.
It's been retitled as an 88 Countach.
Oh, we like that.
Which is goofy because it's a replica of an 89 anniversary edition. It's about 6 inches shorter. Sounds like me on my honeymoon. It's not quite as long, but it's pretty legit looking. I mean, as you can see, like the lines and the gaps come together really well. The paintwork is really good. Most of these replica cars are pretty janky and not that great looking, as you would know.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But for what I paid for this thing, I only spent like 20 grand on this car. Now, I've put some money in it since to get it up to par, but it was originally a white interior car, and then one of the previous owners just spray painted it black and put in this crappy carpet. I'm gonna redo this interior. What's unique about it though is they designed it so that the whole roof comes off as well as the tops of the doors.
Which is rare because...
Which is the way the Countach should have been.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and it looks cool too. Like T-top kind of look is where it should be, right?
Especially for guys like us that are tall. Plenty of, that would give us the extra room. But believe it or not, there's quite a bit of headroom in here. This car's an automatic. Now I know that there's purists out there that think that that's just sacrilege, but really, if you want to drive around on the Las Vegas Strip at 5 miles an hour, which takes 2 hours to do, you need a car that won't overheat, that's comfortable to sit in, that you don't have to shift. If this was a true Countach, you know, with a gated
You're talking 10
speed,
minutes and a bad
by
leg.
the time you got to Flamingo, it'd be on fire. It could never do it. But this is just a plain, regular old Fiero under there. It's completely stock, which it's just all GM and it's fine. It's a V6.
Is that a 2.8, right?
Something like that.
And one thing that really, really blew my mind is this spoiler, because as soon as I turned up, my spoiler was missing these end fins, and these are absolutely beautiful.
It's aluminum.
Aluminum.
It is. I mean, I think it may be a real
It does
spoiler
look real
because at the time that this was built, you could probably pick one of these up for $500 or something.
Wow, okay. But that is the icing on the cake, because when you look around this car, the lights are real on the front, the wing mirrors are real, the spoiler looks real.
I think this come off a Chevette.
Okay, I got you.
Because this should be here. And I have a set of the real taillights.
They're like 3 separate pieces, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I have them sitting in there, and I'll show you. But these are glued in such a way that I'm just not going to mess with it.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Sometimes
it looks
you
pretty.
just got to pick your battles. What I care about is I can get in this car and start it.
On the button.
When the starter engages, it'll start. I've been having problems with that starter. I may have to swap it. But once it fires up, as you can see, it purrs like a kitten. It'll run like this all day long on regular gas.
I mean, you guys have seen when I had the Ferrari F40 replica, which was a little bit out of proportion, but only in length. But the front and the rear, it looked absolutely perfect. But when you stood along the side version of it, you could see that door was, once again, about 6 inches shorter. But I was doing donuts in that thing like it was out of this world. This car here also has that amazing little V6 in the back, pulls like an absolute train, but shines like it is a real car. Pulling down Las Vegas Boulevard or Fremont, this would actually blow people's minds away, right, Bob?
I'm not happy with the door gaps on this thing. You can actually see through this door from the driver's seat.
I think that's like every replica though, right?
Yeah, it's, you know, that's where these things fall apart. But, you know, I've heard that the real Countaches aren't built much better.
I was at the Gumball Rally with my Countach, and we parked it next to a real one. And the details that were different were so minuscule that I got in it and I was like, oh, my dashboard pod, that big box on the top, look how shit this looks. And the guy was like, that looks better than the one in my real Countach. And we got his Countach and grabbed it, and it lifted off the dash. It was
mine does that.
It's the same thing.
I can just grab this dash and just yank it out. There's nothing,
exactly the same.
There's almost nothing holding this car together other than gravity. Everything on this car is just, there's no latches here. It's just wind and gravity alone. keep the car together.
And this is probably slower than a DeLorean. Like, you wouldn't want to go much faster than 88.
If you went 80 miles an hour in this thing, I think it would blow apart like a stack of leaves.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. So from one of my favorite cars at Bob's to a car that I never knew I would love so much. And there is a white Testarossa replica over here, or Testarossa as us English call it. This car here blows my mind. From the minute you put this on the video, I think it was on a video for Casey Putch. Was this on that video?
I don't think so.
Not sure.
No.
But the proportions, when you stand here, this car looks as good as it does. It looks absolutely fantastic. You'd never imagine in the photos that looks the same sort of proportions as the Fiero, but in real life, this is, I don't know if you can guess, I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to guess what it is. Is it a Fiero? Is it a custom body car? Or is it a Generation 3 Pontiac Trans Am?
It is
a Trans
a
Am.
1989 Pontiac Trans Am GTA T-Top Delete 350 add-on, as it's known. It's called a T-Top Delete because a GTA would come with T-tops.
Okay.
But if you wanted to add the 350 over the 305 with the additional power, they have to delete the T-tops for the additional rigidity.
Right, okay.
Because you'll break the window otherwise if you try to do a donut. And I did a donut right here in the parking lot, and I broke the windshield because the car twists. It has no frame. But this is the interior is pretty stock, other than the wooden adornments.
Yeah.
And the cell phone, which is a real working cell phone, or it would be working. And it's just a fiberglass rebody of a Trans Am.
But if you didn't know what a Testarossa looks like, which 90% of the world's population don't actually know what one looks like up close.
I got to show you the key.
Oh, look at that. A real Michael Schumacher Ferrari key.
This guy took a real Ferrari key, hollowed it out, and glued with hot glue a GM key in there.
And that is pretty cool, isn't it?
It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Because this isn't even in the key that goes to a Testarossa is completely different.
Oh, and the funny thing is, that's quite a modern Ferrari key,
Yeah,
but it
it's not
still
the right
looks
key.
the part.
But it does look cool.
Once again, on the button. Tonight, Matthew.
With the pop-up headlights.
With the pop-ups, I love that. I mean, for me, this car...
Those are pretty legit looking.
They are pretty good looking.
Get a look at the headlights.
Look at these headlights.
Because normally the buckets are empty.
Yeah, they just have them empty.
Yeah, and those are actually filled in.
I mean, what I'm going to do
And they work.
on one of my shorts, okay, is I've just been filming Richard Rawlins and his amazing Testa, which is the electric-powered Testarossa convertible that he made for SEMA. I'm going to go over a little voiceover after this video and do a short for you about the things that are right and wrong. But I'm telling you, this car is absolutely beautiful. Walking around to the back, the rear light casing is actually also made in steel, which is absolutely fantastic.
Well, watch this. Let me. Oh my gosh, my engine is gone.
There's something missing. Not only is there
you know
four
what, though,
cylinders
you can go
missing.
to the grocery store. Look how much room is in here. You can take this car to the mall and go shopping, and with 2 other friends in the back,
Yeah.
and still enjoy that Ferrari.
But that is really cool, isn't it? Like, you know, that panel would make an amazing piece of wall art on its own, wouldn't it?
This is supposed to go down electronically. It's not doing it.
It'll catch yourself up. But this panel here, these grills are actually metal.
Oh,
When
there
the
it goes.
company made these, they actually fit perfectly around it. I mean, it's a very cool looking car, right? What do they call it? Miami Vice? Is it Miami Vice?
It
or
is.
White
I bought it
Testarossa?
because, for several reasons, my interest in the Miami Vice aspect of it. Don't I look like Don Johnson
You
now?
do look very much like him.
Great story. You know, every car has a story, and that's
Yeah.
what's important. The story of this car is when I was a kid. When I was a teenager in Fort Worth, Texas, there was a British guy named Paul Wilkins, had a shop called Spectre Automotive. He had moved from the UK to Canada to Texas. And he was building these cars in his own shop, and as a teenager, I used to hang out in his shop and dream about one day of owning one.
Yeah, yeah.
This one came up for sale here locally, and I bought it. And I bought it because of Paul and his influence, where I used to hang out at his shop and see him transform these brand new Trans Ams into these Ferraris. It just blew my mind, and it inspired me later on to do that with DeLoreans and Knight Riders and Ghostbusters and all the other things that I do. If not for that influence, So this car means something to me. People will make fun of it. They'll make fun of the proportions and say it's a fake. That doesn't matter to me.
No, it's that feeling you have in your heart.
This car represents the spark that ignited what became the profession of a 9th grade dropout that would normally be working at a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Who lives in $1 million house in Vegas, because I got exposed to coolness like this when I was a teenager.
I mean, it's so freaking cool. And I mean, I grew up watching a different genre of cars. For me, it was the Fast and Furious age that sort of propelled me into that. But I do admit that these cars here are what my dad loved when I was younger. So that's how I learned about these cars, through my dad. I mean, looking around the Blues Brothers, apparently when I met him, I'm on a mission from God. But that is so cool. Was that Dodge Monaco?
1974 Dodge Monaco. Thing runs and drives perfect. I parked it on the lawn next to my Blues Brothers on the porch there.
Yeah.
And you know, the car runs and drives great. Doesn't have air conditioning, but it's a good car. Runs good on regular gas.
On the button.
Unlike a real Testarossa,
you can actually use
I would get in this thing and drive it across the country. It's got cruise control and air conditioning and a good stereo, Blaupunk.
And it all works.
And everything works perfectly. There's nothing wrong with this car. It only has 38,000 original miles. But
wow.
Here's the sad thing. If this was a 38,000 original mile mint 1989 GTA, it would probably be worth twice as much as it is now as a fake Ferrari.
So sometimes, guys, converting your muscle car at home into a replica is not the best way of you saving your spondoolies.
No, you have to do it because you love it. And people have said to me, why not just get a real Testarossa? I've got a friend who has a real one.
Yeah.
You can't drive this thing.
No.
Every 10,000 miles has to be completely
Everything
taken
breaks
apart. I was
down.
going to buy one of those ones from Richard.
Yep.
And do something with it. Maybe I still will. I'll talk to him and Big Chris, and maybe they'll let me.
I'm sure it'll all come back together.
Now this is my beater. If I want to just go to the store or do something, you got to have a beater.
Okay.
This is my beater. This is a 2006 Rolls-Royce Phantom.
And I mean, considering this is 2006, this car looks like it rolled out the factory yesterday. I mean, the design is flawless. This thing has its own freaking umbrella in the door.
It does. My SEMA passes are still in here.
Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, these cars to me are about as quintessentially British as it gets. Complete muscle pack. Still a V8 under the hood, is there?
Oh, it's a V12.
V12, okay.
Hush your mouth. V8.
I'm a bad person, sorry.
I don't know, the people in the UK may not understand this, but do you have Grey Poupon, the mustard in the UK?
No.
It's a Dijon mustard. It's a French Dijon mustard. For probably 30 or 40 years, they had this commercial.
Okay.
And the commercial was two fellows pull up next to each other in Rolls Royces. And the other one rolls down the window and says, "Pardon me, but do you have it at Grey Poupon?" And he says, "But of course." And he hands them the thing, and they're having dinner in the back of their Rolls Royces in the tray tables. So they've made fun of this commercial for years. Have you ever saw the movie Wayne's World?
Yeah.
They referenced it in Wayne's World, you know. So I have this in the car just
in case, that one time.
Just in case I'm ever back here with the tray table. So we've also just had the headliners done in a nice black suede and added in fiber optic starlights like they put in the new cars. So check it out.
So now Rolls-Royce actually do this as an optional extra, but look at this. What year is this car?
This is a 2006. Now if you ordered a new Phantom, can you get in there enough to see it?
Absolutely gorgeous.
That's a $17,000 option.
Wow.
We did it for $2,500.
And it's crazy to think that those little options are what make the car so special today, you know. But this car is still being modernised by Bob every single day. Talking about mechanics and doing stuff yourself, Bob, is this car maintainable and serviceable, like as a human being that like can change an oil filter?
There's so many things about the car that are just everyday things. You know, you can change the oil like you can any other car with a $5 oil filter.
Yeah.
I changed the spark plugs in an afternoon. They were really easy. But there are certain things that only a BMW certified mechanic can do if they have the computer software. For instance, like when I changed out the air shocks, they have to be programmed. So I had to pay a guy like $400 an hour to come and do that. So you're gonna have, you can't take this to BMW. BMW will not allow a Rolls-Royce to be worked on in their shop. So you have to find an independent person. For me, luckily here in Las Vegas, there's a place called BMW Only, the Werkstatt. And they work on the car for me. So they've done the injectors and all sorts of things. They did my shocks and they do it for a reasonable amount. But what you gotta remember is, let's say you buy one of these cars for $100,000. If I take it, I tried to take it to the Tobin Rolls-Royce here in Las Vegas, they wouldn't even touch it because they only work on cars that are still in warranty. They won't touch an old car.
That's crazy.
So you have to find either
Loopholes,
you have to either be able to do it yourself or find a relationship with somebody. So that's the fear of owning one of these cars. So I don't have that fear because I'm willing to dive in there and work on the car.
Get your hands dirty, that's it.
But for the things that I need done, because maybe of my status, being on YouTube and things, I manage to. Well, it's not that, but people reach out to me and say, "Hey, I can work on your car."
Yeah.
So fans all the time will write to me and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying a Phantom. What do you think?" And I'm like, "Look, you need to understand that this is a very reliable car. It's a daily driver for me.
Yeah.
This truly is my daily driver. But there are things about it that you're going to have to learn how to do. Like, for instance, when I first bought the car, there was a fault inside the door. There's a huge door lock mechanism.
Yeah.
Every single time you take off in the car checks to make sure all the doors are closed and locked. And if it thinks the door is open, it will apply the brake.
Oh, what the hell? Wow.
So so I had to take this whole door apart. It cost $700 for that door lock mechanism. Now, if I'd have taken it to someplace, it would have cost me thousands.
Yeah.
And so being able to take that door apart and change out that module myself
saves you thousands. Yeah.
It only cost me the part and a few hours. But so I really think it's a requirement to own an older Rolls-Royce, especially one of the older crew cars that run on the hydraulic fluid.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I have a place here in Vegas. I'm literally spending half of the value of the car on the repair. I paid $10,000 for the Silver Shadow.
Yeah.
I'm spending $5,000 just to fix the leak.
Wow, and there's not a lot of people that work on those suspensions. No. And the brake systems either are completely nightmares on them.
But this thing is wonderful. It still works.
So, okay, so we've gone from...
Go away.
So he's got his lightsaber. He's attached. How much are these each umbrella?
These are about $700 each. Now come in handy in Vegas to block out the sun. Not much rain here.
Not much rain.
But they're wonderful in the sun.
So Mary Poppins, did you have to buy that when you bought the car?
I did. These were missing. They had been stolen out of the car.
There's one for each door?
Yeah, so when I got the car, it was missing the hood ornament. It was missing the floor mats, which are made of wool.
Wow, okay.
$4,000 floor mats. So the car was totaled because it was just missing so many different things that had been stolen.
Yep.
And but you can find them on eBay for like $300.
And that's probably because he had your ones originally and you just bought them back off the original guy that stole them.
Yeah, probably the same bloke that ripped them off.
Look at that.
Yeah, soft close. Now the thing is, there's so many of the things about this car that are, were special back then are now common now. Kias do this kind of thing.
That's it.
But in 2006, this was a pretty impressive car.
Even now, like to 90% of the public driving that down the road would assume that's a brand new car. You know, Rolls-Royce haven't changed much of their design after the last 10 years, have they really?
It didn't like what I did a minute ago.
Rolls-Royce. And if there's a car that an Englishman needs in Las Vegas, this is the one for you. So Bob, what else you got back there? So we've gone Italian styling, we've gone American muscle, and now we've got British tranquility back here in these barns, hidden out of the way, is stuff that's gonna absolutely blow your mind, okay? Cars you've only ever seen in the movies, cars that would make you smile and make your children go, Dad, what's that? Let's have a look. That's it for this episode, but on the next episode, we're going to show you the amazing other movie cars that Bob has hidden away. Here's a little bit of a sneak peek.
Here we've got a Kit Knight Rider up there that we've stashed away. We'll work on later. And of course, here we have the famous DeLorean time machine. The full experience. We're steering to it, and we've also repositioned all the air conditioning vents so that they blow in your face. This is our first episode of the show Screen Machine.
Look at that.
This thing is a 1963 Cadillac convertible. Another leg, huh?
Quick reminder, hit that subscribe button, the like button, and then the bell button, so you get alerts when we release new episodes, and follow us on social media too for extra stuff and more alerts about videos we're releasing, which at the moment is every Sunday and the odd Wednesday too. Bye for now.